Personality in every story that we'll weave. Groove is on the beat, it's tight, we're live today. Talking apps, gadgets that light up the way. That's entertaining, oh let it play. Seamless chatter, like threads in digital tapestry. Icons and notions of this tech odyssey. That's entertaining, it's all in play. Now tune in close, the stories will unfurl. Chatting trends and news, it's a digital swirl. Let us turn the vibe on high, just press play. It's a feast of thoughts where the listeners stay. This is where the lights align. It's kinetic, sync with the pulse. Your go-to tech aesthetic. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Tech events, we talk the scene. Making sure your kids stay keen. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Light up the airwaves, fire in the code we see. Personality in every story that we'll weave. Groove is on the beat, it's tight, we're live today. Talking apps, gadgets that light up the way. That's entertaining, oh let it play. Seamless chatter, like threads in digital tapestry. Icons and notions of this tech odyssey. That's entertaining, it's all in play. Now tune in close, the stories will unfurl. Chatting trends and news, it's a digital swirl. Let us turn the vibe on high, just press play. It's a feast of thoughts where the listeners stay. This is where the lights align. It's kinetic, sync with the pulse. Your go-to tech aesthetic. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Tech events, we talk the scene. Making sure your kids stay keen. Let's turn.
Hello and welcome to the show. It is another episode of That's Entertaining. Welcome, welcome. It is so good to be back for another episode. We have an incredible episode for you today, and I am coming to you live from Fusion Events headquarters in Toronto, Canada, and we are multi-streaming today live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and I'm saying a big hello to everyone out there on all the platforms and to those who listen to us after the fact, not live on Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first episode, this is a very, very good episode to be tuning in for because it is going to be live and interactive, and we're going to bring the entertainment value. And so I just want to say hello. We've got LW Events joining on Instagram, Silver Lining Entertaining, DG. We got Brew 1171, Hidden Treasures Decor. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are watching, now is a great time to say hello in the comments. Let me know that you are watching us live. Where are you watching from? Is it a beautiful sunny day where you are? I hope it is. It's still kind of trying to make its way into springtime here in Toronto. So let's see. We have an amazing show. Let's see what we have on the docket today. We are going to be talking about a new, really mind-blowing AI generative music platform that is going to absolutely blow your mind. So you're going to want to stay tuned and check that out, because we're going to listen to some AI generated music that you probably, if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference or know if it was generated by AI or humans. It's really, really mind-blowing. And we also have my special guest, Chris Turner, on the show. I'm very excited for that because Chris is an amazing performer. He is a comedian, freestyle rapper. He does improv. He's an epic content creator with over 40 million views on YouTube. That's right, 40 million views. And he has appeared on The Tonight Show with Stephen Colbert. So he is going to be joining me today. I'm going to be talking to him a little bit about his journey of, from success to on YouTube to appearing on Colbert. And he's also going to bless us with a freestyle rap here live, and it's going to be interactive. So we really need your participation in this to make it work beautifully. So what we're going to do is in the LinkedIn comments, in fact, I'm just going to paste that link right now. You can join the show via Zoom. So I'm going to click that link, and all you have to do, I'm going to copy that link now. All you have to do is just go into this Zoom meeting, and you're going to see everything you're seeing here on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you are, and you're going to jump into that Zoom meeting, and you're going to see it all there. Okay. And when the time comes in about 20 minutes or so, I'm going to bring some volunteers on stage, and you can try to stump Chris with your hardest, most challenging words, phrases, ideas, and he is going to freestyle rap about them. So I'm just going to paste this into the comments right now. Okay, so there's the Zoom link. I'm going to put this up for our Instagram people. Hello, Marquee Events. Hello, everybody joining in. I can see lots of people coming in here. So there's in the Instagram comments, I popped that Zoom link. You can copy and paste that. And yeah, join the interactive segment today with Chris, because that's going to be fun, and we need people to join the show live to try to stump him. Otherwise, it's just going to be me, and that's okay too. But listen, if you didn't brush your hair this morning, or you just rolled out of bed, you can put a hat on. You still have time. Brush your hair. You can even use one of those fancy Zoom avatars, so we don't need to see you. And if you really don't want to go on camera, that's cool too. Just come on audio only. Just leave your camera off, and you can talk to Chris and give him your suggestions, and he will rap about them. And I do apologize, we started a little bit late today, had a couple technical difficulties, but we are back on track and ready to get into the show. So let's get into our first segment with our special report. Okay, sorry about that. So today we are going to be talking about some AI stuff. I know I like to talk about AI a lot, but not has a platform impressed me or blown my mind so much as this next one, which is called Udio, which I guess comes from the word audio. They just took out the A, and I guess instead of us-dio, you-dio. And you can create some incredible music. And I don't know if you tuned in during the intro of the show, you may have heard a funky tune, and I created this song with this platform Udio, or maybe it's Udio, I'm not sure. I'm going with Udio. And I just gave it a prompt that I want a theme song for a podcast called That's Entertaining. and I told it I wanted like a 70s funky vibe. And so let's have a listen to what this created for me, all right? Oh, let's get some audio happening on there. Hang on a sec. I mean, it's mind-blowing. I mean, I'm hearing Earth, Wind, and Fire, Kool and the Gang. I'm hearing Shaka Khan. This actually kind of reminds me a little bit of I'm Every Woman with some of these motifs. It's like we're live today. Talking apps and gadgets that might light up the way. That's entertaining. Like presidential tapestry. Oh yeah. What do you guys think? Would you be able to tell that this is AI generated? What's up, 6'3 Boutique? Continuum DJs. Hello, welcome. We're just listening to some AI music. And do you hear that reverb there at the end? So this is really, I mean, just crazy, because not only is this AI platform Udio generating the sounds, the voices, the chord changes, but it's also mimicking the production of all these different genres and styles and different styles of production, which is really, really crazy. So I want to, we'll just browse through a couple of these songs here. Let's just try this one. Whoops. So you can see here, this is under the UDO. There's the prompt, essentially: big beat, rhythmic, energetic, melodic, uplifting, happy 2020. You can add in your own lyrics, or you can have the lyrics generated for you by the platform. Let's try another one.
Scrolling past the endless titles.
Like, that voice is crazy.
Options wide, but nothing's looking right.
I mean, I experimented with some of these music platforms a couple months ago, and they were okay. They were decent, so you get some okay results, but this is really, really taken it to the next level. And so this platform was created by a couple ex-Google DeepMind researchers, and they got a seed round of about $10 million, which really isn't a lot. Here, let's listen to some Universal Groove.
Cool to the touch in the night. I flip to find my delight. It's just more soothing. Knowing the chill's just right.
And you know, when I listen to some of these songs, it's you can really hear like specific references or influences.
Stay with me, cold.
That beat totally reminds me of Erykah Badu.
You'll be switching sides.
Let's try some other. And I've found that one of the hardest musics to replicate is jazz, and because you can't, to replicate the sound of like a trumpet or a saxophone is really difficult, and people have been trying for years to replicate it with MIDI sounds, but this platform does an incredible job of producing the sounds of woodwinds and brass. Definitely sounds like some Miles Davis and oh yeah, Motown vibe there.
Watch out for the boogeyman. Watch out.
And so, you know, there's all kinds of content on here. This is a free platform right now, so it's in beta. So anybody can play with this. You can get up to, I think, 1,200 songs a month. Now, you know, the real sort of moral dilemma is going to be in terms of, you know, copyright infringement and stuff like that. And, you know, until an artist or major artist will sue one of these platforms and win, it's sort of fair game. And I mean, I'm sort of conflicted on this myself as a musician and a, you know, someone who's written music. But, you know, my thought about it is that, you know, as a person, I have a lot of you know, data that I've collected in my brain, and just like these that I'm trained on, the data that I'm trained on, which is all kinds of music, and it's you know, the platform is also trained on the music, right? So when I write a song and I put it out there to the world, I'm using all those data points in my brain that I've been trained on and influenced by. And it's, as long as the outcome doesn't infringe on anyone's copyright, then you're okay. Because that's how all music is created. We all listen to things. We're all influenced by things. And then we output based on our various influences. So this is great for just fun, to listen to music, to play with it. You know, right now there's nothing stopping you from using this content in your live streams or in your content creation. So this could be disruptive for, you know, people who do stock music for a living, even potentially music producers. But what I will say is that I don't think it will ever replace performers and artists, because you know, these AI creations can't perform live. They don't have personalities. They you know, you need a person to attach that sort of celebrity or artist to. And it's interesting because I think will.i.am is one of the people who's invested into this company. So he, you know, as an artist, you'd think, oh, will.i.am, he wouldn't be into having his music maybe trained on AI for free. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. And, you know, speaking to some really smart musicians and people in the music business, it seems that people feel like the bigger possibility in the future is artists co-creating or co-performing with AI. That could be a possibility. I mean, I could see a really cool scenario where this isn't so much as affecting the music, but a performance where, let's say you have a big screen and people can submit user-generated content, their pictures, videos of themselves in the dance floor, and then it goes up, gets, you know, put through stable diffusion and put on a big screen. Like, that could be really kind of cool, but that's still, again, that's not how the AI is co-creating with the performer. So it's very interesting to see where this is all going to go. I just want to check out some, let's check out a little rock here just to get a little variety. Let me turn this volume back up.
By the blaze of the dunes, rise up.
Got a little Led Zeppelin in there for sure.
Meet the moon with your dust and your hazy grooves. You gotta ride through the mystic woods where the legends hide. I've been chasing fight. I feel like a torn thread, a worn seam.
Bit of a sort of angsty 2000s emo kind of rock. So yeah, really, really cool, really interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this down the road. But right now it's in beta, so you can check that out if you like. And so yeah, that's Udio, AI generated music, I should say. Okay, so now we are getting to the time where I'm going to bring up my guest, but I'm going to give everyone a little reminder right now that in order to be part of the interactive segment today, you got to jump into the Zoom meeting. And I actually see we have a couple people already in there. So we've got a couple. We want to get 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6 people would be great to come into the Zoom meeting. And the idea is, if you're just joining, Chris Turner is about to come on. He's going to do some freestyle rapping based on the audience's suggestions. I see a couple more people. That is awesome. And we're going to try to stump him. He's really good. I've never seen anyone stump him, but let's try and see what we can do. So let me tell you a little bit about my guest. So I met Chris during the pandemic, as I was scouring the globe and the internet for unique and interesting talent that I thought could translate well into virtual events, because, you know, we did this epic pivot during the pandemic to virtual events. And my mission was to find ways to entertain people in unique, interactive, engaging ways. And I came across Chris, and of course I reached out to him, and he was very gracious, and we hit it off, and we managed to end up doing some work together. And so I wanted to introduce my audience and the Canadian contingent to Chris, because he's doing amazing things. He travels all over the world. So I'm gonna drop a little info here on Chris. So Chris is a standout figure in the world of comedy, renowned for his quick-witted and flawless freestyle raps. He regularly performs at New York's Comedy Cellar and starred in Cirque du Soleil's Las Vegas show Mad Apple, the first Cirque show to incorporate stand-up comedy. Notably, Chris made history as the first British comedian to perform on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, earning a standing ovation. His sharp intellect and clever wordplay has amassed over 40 million views on YouTube, and his shows consistently receive critical acclaim, including multiple Best Jokes of the Fringe honors and prestigious awards at international comedy festivals like the Edinburgh Fringe and Fringe World. A favored act on the corporate circuit, Chris has captivated audience from top global companies and performed at significant events like the Forbes 30 Under 30 conference. Beyond comedy, Chris contributes to the creative and business communities, speaking on the applications of improvised rap in business and participating in global forums like Oslo Freedom Forum. He is also a founding member of Racing Minds, a highly respected UK improv comedy troupe. And I want to play a little video before we bring him on. So this is a little piece of Chris Turner's content. I absolutely love this piece. It is a 9-minute rap. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It was a 2020 year in review. Check this out. It is so cool.
2020 was a dumpster fire, it's finally done. Let me tally up the good things that happened. None! The misery that we endured was pretty much constant, but tragedy plus time equals YouTube content. So switch off your socials, stop checking your emails, and I'll take you through the year in excruciating detail. Spotify might sue me, but please relax and sit back, cause this track's 2020. Rap January 1st, expecting that fresh start, a new year. 2020 full of plenty things we're gonna do here. 2019 was a bust. Fires in the Amazon, protesters in Hong Kong, Boris getting Brexit done, but now I'm looking forward. That's optimism, no optician, but I still...
All right, so without further ado, please welcome my guest, Chris Turner.
Hello,
Chris.
Yeah, look at all those hands. Wow, what a pleasure, Arthur. Thank you for having me.
You get the air horn. Thank you, my man. How are you today?
Do. Thank you. I'm all right. Yeah, just watching half an hour of you talking about how AI is going to come and take all our jobs. So that's encouraging.
I did say that's not going to take jobs of performers, though. I really don't think that. We still are going to need people to go watch live
I will say
in
the
concert.
lyrics is where it's lacking. Yeah, the The beats are pretty good, but
Yeah,
some of those lyrics, I'm like, yeah, I can improvise 50 times better than that. So
you
I'm safe.
100%
I
can.
just feel bad for all the people on the on the other side of it.
You are definitely safe. I can promise you that. So I want to dive in because it's not every day I get to have a freestyle rapper on the show. How does one get into freestyle rapping in the first place?
So I started rapping when I was 11, and freestyle rap is improvised, all made up, blah blah blah. So I was 11 years old, just rapping along to songs that I liked. So Eminem, Outkast, Dr. Dre, and I would make up my own raps based on what they kind of were rapping about. But I wouldn't rap what they were saying. And I thought all rap was made up. I thought all rap was improvised. And I was like, wow, these guys are incredible. Like, how can Andre 3000 make up these lyrics on the spot? He must be a genius. I want to be that smart. So I started just practicing to try and get better and better and better. And then 8 years later, get to university and realize that freestyle rap is very rare. No one can really do it. And I'd somehow managed to train my brain with all these weird connections to be able to do it.
And so when you started out, what was the content you're rapping about? You're listening to Eminem and Dr. Dre. Are you dropping like the hardcore freestyles, or like are you talking about like playing Pokemon and like doing things that like teenagers do?
I mean, I was a kid. I have no idea what I was saying, but I know that when I used to do it for my friends, it would be like a roast. They'd just be like, hey, rap about how Mike always has peanut butter sandwiches and that makes his breath smell. And then I'd be like, okay.
That makes a lot of sense because my son is 9 years old and he's like constantly roasting everybody. They just love roasting each other.
We love roasting when we're little kids. That's all we've got, right? Just you're small, mate. You're all small.
And is that sort of how the comedy aspect came into it, through roasting people?
Comedy, nah, because I don't do mean-spirited comedy in my stand-up. That came about through doing improv. So I was doing improv comedy at university, and then after about a year of that, I realized that rather than be a musician, which was my kind of path before then, I was playing in bands, not hip-hop bands. I was playing in rock bands. I realized that I could get 100 people to see me do comedy versus 20 people to see me play a music gig. So I started doing stand-up, because then that way I'd be on stage for the whole time, not sharing it with 5 other people improvising.
Right. And how did you sort of figure out that this is something that you can monetize and actually make it into a business and a career, which you have done so well?
Yeah, I mean, I started doing a lot of corporate events in 2013, which was only 4 years into doing stand-up. And that was about a year after I'd started doing my freestyle rap in my stand-up, because I used to just do jokes and stories. And then about 3 years in, I started doing freestyle in my stand-up.
Wait a minute. So you could freestyle rap. You already had the skill to freestyle rap, but you did comedy, just straight up comedy without incorporating the rap until years later?
Yeah, like my second biggest YouTube video is not a freestyle rap video. It's a just one-liners video from 14 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I know. You seem amazed, Arthur, that my comedy on its own is
Well, your
worthy.
comedy's great. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
no,
that is
it took
surprising.
a while to figure it out, because no one else was doing it. So you look at it and you go, oh, you can't do freestyle rap in comedy clubs. But then I started doing it, and it took me from bottom of the bill to the top of the bill really quickly, because no one else had seen anything like it and no one else was providing that.
And at what point did you make a sort of decision to start doing events, or is it something that just happened? People saw you in the clubs and like, hey, it'd be great if you'd come to my company party.
There was a guy, JJ, who runs Performing Artists in London. He saw me perform with Ed Byrne, who's a big comedian in the UK, in Edinburgh in 2013. And then he called me up and said, hey, can you get to this location tonight? I've had an act drop out. I can't find anyone. The budget's rubbish. I've never booked you before, but I will take a risk because otherwise I have no entertainment for this event. and I was 30 minutes away. So I headed there, did the gig. It went really well. And then the next day he's like, hey, so you just saved me last night. I'm going to book you a lot based on that feedback. And then he was the first corporate booker to book me. And from that point on, all the big UK speaker bureaus started using me a lot because I was at that sweet spot of not famous, so I wasn't crazy expensive, but also like the closest to a sure thing you could have for a corporate event, because something so novel and interactive is always going to have the edge over just standard stand-up comedy, right? Which is always a hard sell. Even if you're a big famous name, in the UK at least, audiences at these events like to sit there and go, oh, you're famous, are you? Well, we'll see if you're funny. And that's not the attitude you need from an audience. You need the audience to be like, we're going to have a good time. So yeah, I did for 3-4 straight years in the UK, was just hitting the corporate scene a lot, and then moved to LA and started making inroads over here.
Yeah, I find, having done entertainment for events for the last 20 years, anytime you bring up the subject, not anytime, but sometimes you bring the subject of like a comedian at a corporate event, you get that, ooh, is that that people get scared because they're worried about things being risque. And if I go watch your YouTube videos, you don't like, it's totally NSFW, right? What you do in comedy clubs. So how does the approach change when you're at events? And have you ever had corporate clients you're like, just do whatever you want, Chris, just, we don't care what you say, like, just go nuts?
I mean, that happens a couple of times. It depends on the event, and it depends where you are. Like, there are corporate events where it's like the boss has hired you to entertain the board, and he's like, just unleash. But most of the time it's, hello, can you keep it PG? Which is totally fine. And people ask about that. They're like, wait, how can you freestyle rap and keep it clean or keep it away from certain topics? And I do comedy for kids. I've done that for 12 years. And so my experience is doing completely acceptable comedy for children. You have to keep it clean. So I just have, like, whenever I'm freestyling, I know that I can only go to certain areas. And if someone does say something risque in a show, like where it's a corporate client, there's ways of getting around that, Right. If someone says something a bit naughty, you can just kind of, misunderstand it. I mean, a classic one was I don't know, because if I say it, people will get upset. But there's ways of mishearing words that people say. And going, oh, I heard Jason Bourne. And the guy's like, no. And you're like, Jason Bourne, your favorite type of movie. Brilliant. It's, you can never determine what drunk people are going to do at award ceremonies. Yeah.
That's awesome. And, I know we got some people here because we started a little late. They've been in the Zoom meeting. So maybe what we should do is try a quick freestyle rap. And then I got a couple more questions because I want to talk to you about the Colbert Show, because I have a personal interest in that. And I want to know the experience that was like, because that's got to be a once in a lifetime experience. So,
well, hopefully not just once in a lifetime, hopefully multiple times. If they only have you on once, that means you didn't do very well.
Is that the case?
I don't know. I've not been back on it, and I got a standing ovation. So maybe it's one and done.
Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna just get these guys set up here. Okay, so should I bring up one at a time just to introduce who's in the room, or should we bring everyone up at the same time?
Whatever you think's good. Maybe one at a time so we can really connect.
Okay. All right. Well, we actually have another amazing comedian and actually host of a TV show in the Zoom meeting right now, Adam Grove from Cash Cab. What's up, Adam?
Yes, good to meet you, Chris. So cool.
Hi, Adam. Pleasure.
Yeah, and listen, like anything else created television, Cash Cab started in the UK. So you just you do your thing there, and then you bring it here. I've loved to get to know you a little bit, hearing Arthur ask you these questions. I am a stand-up. I try to mix in something different. I know how challenging it is. What I do is trivia because of Cash Cab, and so I've been doing a lot of trivia and quiz shows on stage. So I know the challenge you faced, and as well the whole corporate gig thing. Amazing stuff, and it's really cool. I think that I have to say, as a comedian, one of the things that blows my mind when I've seen you perform is, and especially the first time, and this is what must kill at the corporate events, is you look like the last person who could freestyle rap, right? And then when you bring it, it's just like, what just happened? Not only is it the last thing I expected from this guy, but you kill it. So that's amazing. I just love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I walk on in a suit, and they've introduced, the world's best freestyle rapper. I walk on, and everyone goes, "Oh, I think one of the hosts has walked out a bit too soon.
Right.
Get back on stage, Chris." And I'm like, "No, hello, it's me."
Yeah,
I will also
that's
say,
amazing.
I didn't know that Cash Cab started in the UK, and the thing is, cab is not a word we would. So the awkward thing is, I'm now thinking that it was called pound taxi, and that sounds incredibly inappropriate.
Yeah, that's another Jason Bourne thing right there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Yeah, it was only there for a year, but anyway, I'm happy to be doing Cash Cab in Canada, and it's a franchise show around the world. So I thought Arthur asked me, come on and stump Chris with some great stuff. I'm not trying to stump you. I want to make some gold with you, but because I'm a trivia guy, I don't know how Arthur or Chris, set me up in terms of what I can give you for you to go off on a little.
What would you like me to rap about? Anything at all?
Well, I think I would ask you a trivia question, and you have to use the answer, and I'll make it as easy as possible in a rap.
I mean, come on, Adam. Listen to the accent. You can tell I was privately educated.
Well, does that sound okay? Should I give it a whirl?
Go for it. Yeah.
It's Stump Chris
Okay.
after all.
All right. Sports or pop culture?
Oh gosh, neither. Sports. American sports are always going to be something I'm short on. So, but pop culture equally. Those are the two things that I need covered when I do pub quizzes. But go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, and it's Canadian, but I'll lead you into it. So this one is in the 1980s.
Yeah, let's not do sports then, because I know nothing about hockey.
No, it's okay. I won't do anything. Well, I mean, Arthur would help you, but here's a pop culture question. In the 1980s, Hostess introduced a number of flavors in Canada for their potato chips, and one of them really stuck and has become famous around the world.
Ketchup.
We think, which red tomatoey one became a Canadian icon?
Thank you. I said that before you answered. I've toured Canada.
Yeah, we've brought Chris up to Canada as well, so he's experienced some Canadian culture. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Adam.
Right, tomato ketchup potato chips. And aren't you impressed that I said tomato ketchup potato crisps rather than tomato ketchup crisps?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah, crisps.
Okay, we're going to say goodbye to Adam right now, and we're going to bring on our next person. So we have Marijn Van Buren. Say hello, Marijn.
Hello. Hi, everyone. It's good to be
Hey,
here.
Marijn.
Pleasure to meet you, Chris. I've seen many of your YouTube videos during the whole pandemic situation, so it's a pleasure to be here. And
well, I will say that the Dutch are huge Chris Turner fans. My viewing figures over there are mad, and I love going over there.
I was one of them.
Well, thank you.
My background is in events, specifically event technology, and a big type of events that we're mainly focusing on assisting event professionals.
Oh, sorry.
Would be
there you go.
Hybrid.
Hold on. I cut you off by accident. Really, by accident.
Was like, this is much too Dutch. Mute. Yeah. Mute.
I'll try to mitigate my accent.
Say that one more time. So you're going to get him to rap about, what is it? Hybrid events?
Yes, just hybrid, because events
just
is
hybrid.
Quite easy, but hybrid, I think that might be a challenge for you.
Okay, great.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Marijn. And next up, we have Bogdan. Hey, Bogdan. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. And by the way, for those watching, Marijn and Bogdan also host a podcast called Control Alt Event, all about event technology. So you should definitely check that out if you are in the events industry. So Bogdan, welcome. Oh, are you on mute, Bogdan? We can't hear you. Yes, you're on mute. Unmute yourself on Zoom.
Perfect. That's the perfect intro, and showcases my age as well. And considering it's almost 7 in UK, I'm also very close to going to bed, so I don't necessarily share the 10 a.m. energy that you guys have. But
Bogdan, you're not
otherwise,
going to stay up for
sounds fun.
this football. There's Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid.
No, I've had a previous life due my age, and I used to be a photojournalist, and I've covered so much football in 17 years that I cannot stand to watch football anymore. Anything. It is
Poor
my
thing.
and it's a work thing. If I watch football, I have to take my camera out and do something. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It's I've no.
Fair enough, Bogdan. Well, what would you
Unfortunately
like a
for
rap
me,
about, Bogdan?
that's a stress. I'll do, because I'm geeky and I'm more into startups and technology. I'm very curious if you can do and link something about Elon Musk and how his superpower of almost everything he touches turns to something brown. So just to keep the crowd
Brilliant. Elon Musk turning everything to poop. Fantastic.
All right, I think that's all we have for now. So we got 3 contestants, we got 3 topics. Are you
Would
good,
you want to
Chris?
throw something in, Arthur? Add something extra?
Yeah, I think I would actually. I want you to do a rap about the bane of my existence, which are these things right here. Do you know what this is, Chris?
It's quite zoomed out. Oh, they're reeds for a woodwind instrument, for a saxophone.
That's right. This is a saxophone reed, which is the bane of most saxophone players' lives because they are, made from bamboo, and every single one is different. They all have like a fingerprint, and saxophone players.
And you've got to test which one's going to work, and then you have to throw loads away.
You buy a box of 10 for like $60, $70, and maybe one is good in there. And you have to spend hours on each one, breaking them in. I hate these damn things. It's one of the reasons I don't want to pick up my saxophone, because the goddamn reeds. So this is what I want you to rap about.
That's why you need guitars. They're so easy. You just
they
are.
are.
On them.
Not only, they're also easy to learn too, unlike the saxophone.
Shut up, mate. I found it very challenging. Saxophone, you just warble, and when it goes out of key, just be like, "Oh, it's jazz."
No. My original saxophone teacher told me the saxophone is the easiest instrument to play badly.
Well, let's do this. Let's do something good.
Let's do it.
This is a freestyle rap. That is a rap made up on the spot based on Canadian tomato ketchup potato crisps, hybrid, Elon Musk turning everything to poo, and saxophone reeds, which are the bane of Arthur's existence.
And
Let's
hybrid.
Hip hooray, freestyle rap today. Got the bane of your existence. It's Arthur K. He could take the AK to it, do it with speed. Semi-automatic when he be selecting the reed. He's like sat there on his own at home, saying I can't be asked to do the saxophone. Playing why? Because I need to get the little mouthpiece. Gotta make sure it's moist, and then it releases all of the beautiful melodies and notes. It gets you go. You be like ready to blow. I don't mean from the mouth when you're using the tongue. I just mean from the top when it's going so wrong. Like you had to discard 9 out of 10. That'd be 90%. Like again and again, I'm wasting $55 on my little music. It's so annoying. It's not amusing. Next thing, we try this. Gonna mix it together. It's like a hybrid. 2 things tied so clever. I can say this, succeeded. I'm rapping about Prius, cause that's the type of hybrid that we need. And I was in Los Angeles. Hybrid vehicles everywhere on wheels. It means they like to mix the combustion engine and the battery electric. Mention you can have a hybrid strain of the drugs. Get the indica sativa and throwing it up. I'm like, woo, can't disguise it. It's pretty fun when you talk about the hybrid Odyssey event. Some people online, some present. Oh, zoom in on me like a crescent, cause it's sharp in the image. Yeah, we're gonna talk about all of the things Canadians put in your snouts. You sat there, yeah, really addicted. Munch through potato chips. It's your favorite thing. Going so fast you can't catch up with the ketchup. If we asked hostess introducing the flavors, yeah, like which one will survive, persist till later. In the 80s, I didn't know that was the decade. By now all the chips would have decayed, they would have rotted away, but the ketchup preserves. You gotta get the tomato when you're ready to serve. You mix it up with the sugar, stir it there in the pot. Heinz, that's the variety that I've I've got tomato ketchup. That is how we pronounce it. Oh yes, ounces. That's the amount that I need upon the side of my plate. I trust if I ever met the man called Elon Musk, I'm like, please don't touch me. Don't try this. When it comes to touching, you're like Midas, except sadly, everything you hold for a brief moment doesn't turn to gold. It turns to poop. It makes no sense. How do you have the touch for excrement? I've got to make sure it's clean. And this bit, mighty, I can't say S-H-I-T. Tesla wasn't his idea. He just bought it. And then it's credibly clear he had to go to China and meet the prime minister about, oh, can we cut a deal? Let's get in there. He bought Twitter, and now it's much shoddier. Okay, we're going to body you. There we go, the rap Elon Musk hybrid and all of the reeds. There we go. And have some ketchup crisps if you need to eat. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would drop the mic. We have to carry on talking, don't we?
Nice.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Adam and Marine.
If the suggestions weren't good, it would have been a terrible rap. So, none of that was my doing. That was all on you.
Yes, thank you very much for our special guest experts who came in to try to stump Chris Turner. So thank you, guys. Appreciate that. We'll catch you on the flip side. And I did want to ask you a few more questions before we wrap. Get it? So I want you to tell me a little bit about this, the Late Show performance, because it's like a once in a lifetime, maybe if you're lucky, a twice in a lifetime thing. But how did that come to be? How did you get on the show? And did they just call you out of the blue? And then I also want to know about sort of like what it was like being there. Like when you get there in the dressing room, did he come and talk to you? And how did it feel to do that show? Was it different than anything else you've ever done?
So there's two separate stories. So the first story is how it came about, which is interesting because to me, a woman just came up to me and said, I booked The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And I'm like, all right, mate. Yeah, okay. We've all had a few martinis. And she goes, I think you do really well on it. And I was like, oh, really? And she goes, yeah, I've seen you 8 times now. She's like, I come to the Comedy Cellar. Whenever you're on, you're always smashing it. And that's in New York. And I headline the Comedy Cellar every weekend. So I'm there a lot. And she's like, yeah, I've just seen you so many times. I'd love to have you on. I don't have the final say, but I get to recommend and I will put you at the top of the list. So I was like, great, lovely. So they then contact me and they're like, look, she's recommended you. We think you're wonderful. We don't want you to rap. Which, like, well, what do you mean? They go, we've seen the tape that you sent and we think the jokes are perfect. I was like, but the rap is what I do better than anyone. My jokes are good, but they're like, no, we think your jokes are really funny. And also, we don't really want to risk improv on TV show. And I said, well, guys, it's not live. It's pre-recorded. If it doesn't work, just don't air it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, let's just go again. We can make it look good. And they're like, okay. So the booker says to them, look, Chris really wants to rap. I think it would really work. I've seen him 8 times. It doesn't go wrong. You can trust him. And then they said, okay, it's up to Stephen. So Stephen himself said he can rap. And I don't know whether that was because he was like, I don't care, or whether because he's an improviser. So he was like, yeah, sure, he can do it. And they told me, look, we have really high hopes. We think it's going to really work. We're really excited. What they didn't tell me is that Stephen Colbert is not there. It was coming out of the pandemic. We were filming in May 2021, maybe June 2021. And they hadn't started filming episodes of the show yet. He was still filming the home shows. So what you see when you watch the episode is Stephen going, and now a very special guest, please welcome comedian Chris Turner. And then I walk on and I perform and then I leave and he goes, you can see Chris at the Comedy Cellar. Thank you so much, Chris. And people were saying to me, why didn't he come over? Why didn't he shake your hand? Why didn't he invite you to sit down? Did he not like it? And I
He
got a
wasn't
standing
there.
ovation, right? Like, the audience, he wasn't there, because he was still like filming at home. So what happened was they had just like, whenever you see a comedian on one of these shows, unless it's a famous comedian who's coming on as a guest, most of the time they are on that show because a guest has dropped out and they need something to fill. So my set was filmed in advance. It was filmed in July and it aired in October because they filmed 6 comedians on that one day. And then it's on every night. Not every show's going to go to plan. So on, every night a guest dropped out, they just put one of the comedians in. And so it took a few months to get to mine, and they called me up on the day and they go, your episode's on tonight. And so I go on. Everyone's like, wow, what was it like? What was it like to meet him? I didn't meet him. But the thing that speaks most highly of Stephen is he said, no, let him freestyle. Let him do the rap.
Yeah.
Because he's in charge. It's his show. And so when some people are like, oh, we don't want to have the rap, and he's like, no, do that. I'm like, yeah, he chose well because it was great. But yeah, the hope is that you get invited back on at some point and then you get to meet him. And we'll have to pretend like he was there the last time. I should be like, oh, you were so good last time. Oh, thank you, Stephen. Yeah. Oh, it was so fun catching up with you.
Well, I watching it, at the end when you do get the standing ovation. In fact, I want to just play this really tiny clip here at the very end, because your reaction to the standing ovation seems extremely genuine. I don't know if you were just putting it on for TV, but it looked like to me like you were like, wow, this is like a moment, like you had a moment. But I want to share this moment with the audience. So check this out.
It'll all go away eventually. There's a freestyle rap from me, Chris T. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. You're amazing.
That's just really so cute, Chris. I mean, you look like
I'm genuinely emotional in it. That's so weird. I don't remember it being like that.
Yeah.
I play that clip in my last tour show, because my last tour show was called Vegas Baby and was about performing with Cirque du Soleil. And the inciting incident in it is the appearance on The Late Show, because I'm saying, look, I got this standing ovation and people took notice of me. But I show a tiny clip of it. I show the bit just them standing. I don't show my reaction to it. So that's very weird. I don't remember it being so, oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, I would imagine as a comedian, that's a
relief I hadn't messed up in the rap, because there was so much pressure on it. I was probably just like, oh God, thank God I didn't say anything horrendously offensive.
And do you ever have nights where you're like, oh, that was just not my best night?
I mean, there's always, not every rap can be brilliant every time. It's always going to be impressive to the audience. And like at the bare minimum, I will always have rapped and rhymed about the things. But obviously I hold myself to a higher standard than that. And I want it to be funny and coherent and educational and interesting. So if it's not got something of that, then I'm a bit like, ugh, well, but then that's, you can't give a 10 out of 10 performance every time you're on the field.
And do you do you absorb information? Like, do you have photographic memory? Because it seems like you know a lot about so many different things, watching so many videos, people drop the most random things. And you very rarely, like, you surprise me every time. You're like, oh, I know what that weird medical device is, and I can rap about it.
I don't have a photographic memory, and I don't have a great memory for most things, but I do have a method of accessing anything I do know pretty easily. So it's just a weird brain. I think people always assume there's something to it. They're like, oh, you must have this or this or this. Like the number of times I'd be diagnosed by audience members as autistic.
Right, yeah.
Like, oh, you must be
Rain
like
Man.
Rain Man.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, do you see the amount of eye contact I'm making right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, I can make that joke. My uncle, my wife's uncle, is the guy that Rain Man is based on, one of the 3. So in his acceptance speech, they shout out Joe Sullivan, who is my wife's uncle, and that's pretty cool, isn't it? But yeah, I just have this weird brain, which I managed to train for a long time. And it's just weird, isn't it? It's weird that it's a job. That's the crazy thing.
It's amazing. Has anyone ever asked you to teach them how to freestyle?
Yeah, but I can teach them how to freestyle in a way that's different to me. It's hard to teach, I'm not comparing myself to Mozart. I am comparing myself to Mozart. If Mozart teaches you piano, he can't teach you how he learned, right? He learned from being in a musical family with an incredibly like bonkers father from a tiny, tiny age. You can't wiggle your ears unless you started wiggling your ears as a kid. And I don't think you can do what my brain does unless you started doing it when you were young, when it was plastic.
There's definitely neurotransmitters that are wired in there from, you create these connections that, it's pretty
So I can
wild.
teach people. And when I do presentations and keynotes, I talk about the methods that you can use as a freestyle rapper and how that can then link into other things. But I'm not teaching people how to rap. I'm teaching people how to think like a rapper.
Right.
And I much prefer to do that because teaching people how to rap makes no money. If someone's like, "Can you teach me how to freestyle?" I'm like, "Okay, you're going to buy me a coffee and I'll explain you some things." But, teaching people how to be more creative by doing what I do when I'm thinking.
It seems like you almost have to have two trains of thought at the same time. One that's outputting the rap, and then in the next one that is thinking ahead to the next bar or thinking about what you're trying to rhyme against.
Well, you have to have, when a computer is running an application, what you see as the user of the application is not what the computer is doing. And the computer is doing hundreds of individual processes that make it work. And if you looked at any individual one, you'd be like, what is that? It wouldn't mean anything. But then it outputs this thing that makes sense to us. And that's what freestyling is. To boil it down to, I'm saying this while thinking this. That's not what it is. And what it actually feels like is driving a route that you've driven 1,000 times before. And sometimes you get there and you go, did I drive here? I don't remember anything about
I do that all the time.
And the rap finishes, and that's what I feel. I'm like, I just rapped.
Right.
Okay, they're clapping. It was good. I think in that standing ovation reaction, because there's genuine pressure there, that reaction is me coming back online, coming out of that fugue state in a way.
Yeah.
It's a flow state, right? Yeah. Have you I love my analogy. Have you watched the end of Captain Phillips where they're treating Tom Hanks on the medical ship?
That's the one with the pirates, the Somali pirates?
Yeah.
And yes, I did watch that movie.
The best scene in that is Tom Hanks being an absolutely baller actor. And they're treating him in the medical ship after the ordeal's ended. And he just breaks down very gradually and very realistically because all the pressure has just come off him. And he starts to realize everything he's been through. And that's a much more extreme example of snapping out of the rap and going, oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, well,
I've compared myself to Mozart and Tom Hanks. So, look.
I'll give it to you.
Those have to be.
It's an incredible
AI
thing,
Mozart. Yeah, AI Mozart, and then real Tom Hanks.
It's really just amazing how the mind works and how your mind works. So thank you for sharing some of your process with us. So I know we're getting a little late now and I don't want to keep you, but we do have one more segment that I do with all my guests, and let's give it a whirl. So the segment is called Hot Raps. Although usually it's called hot takes. But for you, we're going to do hot raps. And basically, how the game works is I'm going to put up random phrases and words, and usually my guests would give me a hot take about it. And they're often, event industry type of jargon or, concepts or themes. And so we're going to try to get you to rap on this. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to put you in this solo layout here, and I'm going to when I tell you to drop the beat, you can drop the beat, and I won't
the
start.
Beat will have an intro, so I'll tell you.
Yes,
when...
I'm not going to start. I'm not going to start the timer until you actually start rapping, because I know you're going to probably have 8 bars or 4 bars of intro, so no problem there. So I'm going to put up the first. I'm going to put up the first word.
Oh, I don't want to see the thing.
You don't want to see it yet?
That's
okay.
No.
Okay.
I want people to know that I'm rapping them as soon as I see them. This is a test of freestyle.
All right. Okay.
I will start this beat and I'll tell you when it's coming in. Okay. Is this... Wait, no, we just had that one, didn't we? Let's try this one. Oh, yeah, this is chill. Okay, I like this. Hot rap, smooth beats. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. First word.
I love that we didn't do the one. Okay, we messed up the countdown, but it's okay. I see. Let me break it down like I got the DIE. That's diversity, equality, and inclusion. Looking like Latin, yeah, the solution. Cause Dei, that would mean God in the past language, and we're slaying this. Yeah, you know we manage. Of course we can do this. A dyslexic on the street would look at the word and not say metaverse, but meatverse, like a university. Universe fun, getting all the bacon and the ham when I'm on the course. We can do it digital. It's absurd in the vision on the AI. There with Zuckerberg now. People are of the proclivity to look at me and say, Chris, the neurodiversity, your brain is incredible, flexing its selection. Gotta love the little neuron collections, connections. Hey, I'm shooting from the hip when I come out, computing the spaceship. Spatial like I got it round in the 4th dimension. On the time and the 3D, pay attention. This one, I be kicking large. It's so annoying when I get the hidden charges on my room. I be like the cleaning fee. How you trying to take the cash from me? Of course I can put it to the sword. I'm so self-assured. If I get an AI overlord, I'm like, sit down while I give you a twirl. You ain't coming for the job, taking over the world. And this one ain't easy. Like I'm on my motorbike. I'm a talent rider, and you know I'm going side to side like a sidecar. I be there backstage in the green room. Got a list on the page. It's like M&M's. Please remove all the brown ones. I need some water to get down on. That beat, we did it. Oh, that was so easy, Arthur.
Well, you said 1:30. I should have done it longer, but that was truly impressive. And I'm going to give you some confetti for
thank
that.
You. I heard you chuckle at the meat verse.
That was hilarious. Whoops. Push the wrong button. We get that. We get
another congratulations.
Congratulations. So Chris, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's really fun to have you and kind of learn a little bit more about some of your processes and some of the things that you've done. For those watching and listening, you definitely want to check out Chris Turner on YouTube and all the social platforms. You can check out his web. What's your website, Chris? Chris Turner.
ChrisTurnerComedy.com. And then that's Chris Turner Comedy on everything else. And yeah, check out the YouTube. We are about 10,000 views away from hitting 50 million views overall, which is very exciting. You said 40 million at the start. I was like, gosh, I need to update it.
Well, yeah, actually, I originally had 30 million, and it keeps growing. Because the last time
still like what I do. Gosh, I'm so lucky.
Yeah, and it's how much video content are you putting out? Like, it seems like you're doing a lot. You do every show?
Yeah, so I mean, I do like 12 shows a week, and so I have 12 recorded raps a week, and then I pick my favorites and put them online. So I have a back catalog that will stretch for years if I ever stop. And I've started to do more short form content. So at the moment, I'm putting out a short clip every day, which don't judge me on those, because that is about quantity rather than quality. But my weekly videos that go up on YouTube on Wednesdays, tomorrow's one, if you're listening on today, but May 1st's video is really good. It's me freestyling in a legendary jazz club in New York with a live band, and it's
nice.
Pretty fun.
And if you could give people one tip about content creation before you leave, because you are such a epic content creator, what would that be?
Consistency and not stopping. So I was posting a video a week on YouTube for a year and a half before one of them popped off. and then and you do not know what is going to do well. I'd make stuff that was great and it would get no views, and then stuff that was fine would just blow up. There's no telling what does well. You just have to just keep putting it out there. So yeah, I was doing, 70 videos, one a week, and then finally one of them, for no reason, it's not one of my best videos, just went whoop, and that's on 18 million views now. And that started 5 years ago. That's still every day does a couple of thousand views. And it's, if people see that, they're like, wow, you're a great rapper. I'm like, this is rubbish. I'm way better than that. But I love that, because then you're so much better live than on the video. Well, yeah.
You gotta put like a sticker or one of those pop-up things where they can go to a more recent video on that old 18 million video, drive them to.
Yes, they do. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. YouTube's very good at that. It lets you, it automatically suggests. And that's one of the things, if you're creating content, make content that they want more of. Like for me, I benefit from freestyle rap being infinite, right? I can make infinite raps, and people also doubt it. They're like, no way is that real. I better watch another one to find out.
Yeah.
And I watch it. They're like, nah, he's still cheating. I love that people think it's all like, planned, which is the highest compliment you can get. But also, gosh, how sad is it to not believe in talent and magic?
Well, the amount of effort you would have to fake that by planting people in the audience, and would be a lot of effort. So I can attest, guys. Well, Chris is the real deal. He's not a robot or anything. There's no AI plug in the back of his head that's generating his raps. Yeah. Well, awesome. Chris, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing your amazing talents with the world and my audience over here. And it was great to catch up with you. And like I said, go check out Chris Turner. And so I'm going to say goodbye to you now, Chris. So thanks again. Appreciate you, and can't wait to work with you again soon.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to the next time.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay, well, that brings to conclusion another episode of That's Entertaining. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, really appreciate if you give us a like. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can ding the bell on LinkedIn and on our YouTube page, which is Fusion Events. You can find me, Arthur Karakash, on LinkedIn. And I would love to know if you have any feedback on the show, or any questions, or any things you'd like us to cover on the show. Feel free to send me an email at arthurk@fusion-events.ca, and we'll definitely take that into consideration. So that's a wrap for today. Tune in. Our next episode will be featuring an amazing TV personality. He's had his own television shows. He is an MC. He's an auctioneer. His name is Dave Keystone. You're going to want to check that out. So until then, I hope everyone stays well, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.